game of two halves? One of those cliches. I mean, you were 19-7, looked like you were in control, and then just let it.
I don't think it was two halves. I think it was 50 minutes, 55 minutes. I think we had full control at that point.
Yeah.
And I think there was a couple of big game moments where had another decision gone another way, there could have been a yellow card and we could have had another try. And I think then we had a 10-minute period where we gave 5 penalties away in 10 minutes. And then the possession and territory shift was huge. And I think for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we were struggling really to get any field position and put Dragons under any sustained pressure. So that's what it felt like. Obviously, you have to watch it on review, but that's certainly how it felt.
But those first 50 minutes, I mean, focusing on the positives, you were, you sort of dominating the scrum. You were making some really good line breaks. Yeah. Your third try was quite a beauty, really.
Oh yeah, there was loads of good in the game, but ultimately we look at the result at the end of it, don't we? And that often dictates the narrative. But I think the way the players have focused after the last 48 hours, and if any of that was an issue, we would have seen it in the first 10 minutes. But I think it wasn't anything to do with anything other than we just didn't manage ourselves or the game for probably the most critical part, which is the last, as I said, 20 minutes. So we're always expecting a momentum shift at some point in the game. We referenced it at half time, but we just felt that the field position was going to be the ultimate trump card. And as I said, for the 15 minutes in the second half, we had it. And then for the last block, we didn't. And to be fair, the Dragons, we know if you give them good field position at home, they've got, very, very good players that can break the game up and do things. And to be fair to them, they struck with off the back of the penalties. I think they went to the corner and it was 2 or 3 more tries there which cost us. So it was done the old-fashioned way.
There's only so much you can do against a 12-man shove, I guess, from that range.
Yeah, it's so difficult. We should be matching up their numbers probably, as a backline when their backs enter, but a little bit late to react to it. But we have to limit the amount of times teams get there, and obviously we can definitely, boys have already talked around it. They're still disappointed with how they dealt with those mauls. They feel like the standard's a lot higher than that, and so they're frustrated. But look, I suppose I'm looking at it of, well, why were we there, and what can we do better next time in another derby or another game? We go to Edinburgh in the next block. In a tight game, how do we keep our emotional control, keep our discipline on the right side of the referee, and all the things we can control, really. So there's some bits for us to get after in the next 3 or 4 weeks, really, while we prepare for the next block.
A couple of injuries before the game and during the game. Can you just let us know? And any of those? I mean, obviously, we lost Kieran Williams at the start.
No, they're niggles, really. Right. So Kieran's had some tendinitis, which is, at certain days it can be worse than others, and he was really keen to see if we could leave him as long as possible this week, and he did take part in some training, but ultimately he failed the fitness test before we travelled, which was disappointing for him. He was desperate to play, and Ryan, he had a bit of a back spasm, or not a bit of a back spasm, he had a nasty back spasm, and again didn't turn up well Friday, and so we gave him as long as we could, but we had to make a change then prior to today. So it's a shame, really, but they were both really keen. But look, it is what it is. It's part of it, and I thought the way the boys adjusted and the boys that came in did a good job.
Rhys Davis came off.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to catch up with the medics fully on it, but the in-game comms were he's had a head knock and he failed the first process of that, I understand. So it'll be a case of, he'll have another test after the game now, and it'll go into the protocol as normal. So.
But obviously a massive positive was Jack coming on. Had a spell at 8, had a spell at 6.
Yeah, obviously with the back row mix we had, he's played around a little bit there, and just because of our line out, we wanted to keep our line out strong in the second half. We probably put Ross back on, when Rhys came off, because aerially he's probably a bit stronger than Morsey, or he is stronger than Morsey. He's much more of an aerial forward. So that was the call we made in game, and obviously as a result, then Jack was having to bounce around a little bit at scrum time. So,
but good to have him back.
Oh yeah, great. He's made a really positive impact in the group, as you'd imagine. I thought his energy was very high. I thought he worked hard in the game, and you wouldn't have known he'd been out as long as he has and played since July. So no, he's fitted in seamlessly and was very prominent.
Yeah, look, obviously massive announcement yesterday. You've got to deal with getting your players ready. How difficult was that after yesterday?
No, it wasn't difficult at all.
Come on, Mark.
Wasn't difficult at all. We were, as soon as we had the email at 8 o'clock at night or whenever it was saying there was going to be an announcement the following day, we got onto it straight away around making sure the leadership group knew, making sure that there was enough opportunity for the players to meet either on Zoom or face to face, and included them in how they wanted us to deal with the information. And they asked that if after 2 o'clock there was any questions, would we make ourselves available, and if there wasn't any, they were happy just to switch on for the game, and there was no questions. And right from the announcement yesterday afternoon, we haven't heard from the lads. The leadership group took hold of it, and you wouldn't have known anything had happened, would you? At the start of the game?
Leadership being your players, senior players.
Just so the leaders that we see in the group, the experienced players we feel that have got a great feel for the group and represent the group at all levels. And they have been very, very focused over the last 24 hours, and I've been so impressed with how the players have pitched up today and started the game. I thought it was a testament to them and their mindset and how professional they've been.
Because it must be weighing on some players' minds.
Yeah, look, I'd imagine so. Everybody deals with different scenarios in different ways. I deal with it in my own way, and the players the same. And I think you have to give people space for that, and you have to try and allow for that. You can't ask people to deal with things in any specific way. They have to do it in their own way. What you can do is support them and give them the space to do it, and that's what we try to do. And hopefully, by the way we started the game today and the way we went up until, as I said, 60 minutes, I think everybody can take a huge amount of credit for that.
And I say the players, but obviously yourself as well, and all your coaching staff are going through a similar thing.
Oh yeah, coaching staff, team managers, kit men, commercial staff. We're not playing here, are we? This is serious stuff that we're talking around, and people have got families and mortgages, and it's plain and obvious for everybody to see that it's it can be a really stressful time for people. So all I can do is respect that and try and make myself available to support it with the rest of the staff as much as I can.